So my name is Nicolas Mériel. Yes, I'm a senior digital strategist at Swisscom based here in Zurich. And I want to talk to you a bit through online experience optimization at Swisscom, more specifically using AI and machine learning. So let's see if I can turn those slides. Yes. So there are different optimization techniques that are at our disposal at Swisscom. So one is A/B testing. You're familiar with this. Then we have something called auto-allocate, which is actually also an A/B test, but it would automatically find and look at the current winner, whether it is A, B, or C, and allocate automatically the 80% of the traffic to that existing winner that is currently running at top. So it's an A/B test, but with some kind of smart inbuilt auto allocation of traffic shift rather than waiting until the end. And then we also have something called multivariate testing. Probably you're familiar with this. This is really comparing a combination and looking at different elements of the page. So these are different testing techniques that are available, and we use here mainly the Adobe Target platform, which is our testing and targeting and personalization platform. And then if you look more at targeting, there is something called experience targeting. This is really to deliver the right content to the right person. So if you come with an iPhone, there is no need and it doesn't make sense to visit us with an iPhone. It doesn't make sense. Hey, did you know we have the new app in the Google App Store? Please download now. It doesn't make sense. This is not relevant. So these are the kind of things you can do with experience targeting. Auto-target, we will deep dive in that. This uses advanced machine learning to personalize content. We will look at this in more detail. And then automated personalization, where we go and look more at personalized content. So that's more on the content level. So these are the testing and the targeting techniques that are mainly available, and we use them in a mix and match fashions. You can combine them also. But here in this session, I want to go and dive more into auto-target. So what is auto-target? The idea of auto-target, it's in a way, it's the opposite of one size fits all. It aims to have a my size fits me approach. So the perfect offer or the perfect experience for each visitor every time. So you have different visitors that come to your website, and they have different attributes, they have different needs, they have different behaviors. And these behaviors and attributes and needs and so on can be read by auto-target, and then we can auto-target a specific experience to any specific visitor. So going away from one size fits all to my size fits me. That's what we aim with auto-target. So it uses advanced machine learning to personalize content and driving conversion by identifying multiple marketing-defined experiences. So you have a certain control to define the experiences, and then auto-target will do the rest, basically shuffle and make sure it sends the right experience to the right person at the right time. Why should it be used? Well, it's more the appropriate experience for the specific visitor. It's more relevant, of course. Think about it, when a vegetarian comes into a restaurant, no need to show him, hey, we have great burgers and great food. This is not relevant for a vegetarian, and so on. So just to be simple here. And it predicts also, based on propensity scores, the algorithm would predict what is likely to be the best converting experience. There's some statistical elements and details here, segments, conversions, parameter profile scripts that are being considered for the algorithms. And it also would then go into and choose automatically which algorithm to utilize. Let's look at this a bit more in detail. And of course, it always optimizes on any given or any specific conversion, whether this is buying or clicking or downloading or uploading, and so on. That can be set in the system. So unlike an A/B test, where the objective is to find a single winner, A or B or C, auto-target really automatically determines the best experience for any given visitor. So that's important. It's really this sort of my size fits me. It uses a random forest algorithm, and it can also adapt to the changing behavior of the visitors over time. So my simple example, the vegetarian. Now the vegetarian over time can turn to a meat eater, right? So that can be detected, so to say, and then, okay, this is not a vegetarian anymore. He's now actually interested in meat, so we can detect this, or auto-target can detect this, because it runs on always one fashion. That's the idea. Unlike an A/B test, where you run an A/B test and then you determine after given runtime, okay, A or B has won, or A or B or C. With auto-target, the idea is it's always on, and we constantly look what he wants. Or think about someone who is 16 or 15, they are not allowed to drink alcohol. And then over time, they turn 18 or 20, now they're allowed to drink alcohol. So we can target them, offer them a different experience. I mean, don't know why I'm so in food here, but I come with some telco examples now. And yeah, okay. Then if we look under the hood, what does that machine learning and algorithm approach do? So here on the left-hand side, you see all the audience, all the visitors to come to your website. Now auto-target will split them into 10% and 90%. 10% will be the control group. They will obtain a randomized, any randomized experience that is available. And then the 90%, that by the default split is 10-90, the 90% will then go into the targeted or algorithmic approach, where there's an exploit and explore mechanism using random forest and Thompson sampling. The overall goal is here to detect a personalized, through the personalized algorithm, to detect again the best experience for the visitor, for any given visitor. So that's the overall goal. If the algorithm cannot detect this, if there's not enough data or variables to crunch or so on, it uses Thompson sampling and will still consider the overall winner. So the best experience for the overall traffic. So that's where it resembles then an ABCD test, where we have then, let's say, C is the winner. That would be the winner for the overall experience, but not necessarily a personalized specific experience. So this is what's happening here. And then there's also some on the explore side down here, there's also some training data being kept for exploration. So that's something that is constantly running. And the output on the right-hand side is then, of course, a different experience per visitor, but it depends how many experiences you have set up. So let's look at some examples. So for example, in this test, if you like, that we did, or this experience approach that we did with auto-target, the assumption here, or the hypothesis was, well, the word Schlagzeilen here on this way, this might generate a certain traffic to the news section. However, some human person at some time decided that this has to be called Schlagzeilen. But we could very well imagine that it could also be called something else, like hot news or Aktuelles or Nachrichten, latest news, headlines, breaking news, infos, fresh news. It could be anything of that. Now, if you use auto-target, you can throw all those words at the traffic and let auto-target auto-serve which name or which title he actually converts the best. And you see if all of them are being served in a targeted fashion, not a random carousel fashion, in a targeted fashion based on this AI and machine learning, we get a 13% uplift. 99 confidence. So it actually makes sense to serve them all in a targeted fashion and with a 13% uplift. So the question here was, can auto-target be used for personalization in the navigation and drive more traffic to the news category? The answer is yes, with 13% uplift. And again, let auto-target decide to whom show which name, which text. So this can also be done, of course, not only with text, but also with images. So here we had on the homepage a specific banner, you know, these kind of hero banners. I think there was an Easter campaign, and then it was also the idea, okay, instead of having a carousel where it's sort of evenly rotating through, let auto-target determine which experience or which banner for which visitor at any given time. And here we've seen an uplift of 40%. This uplift is based on click. Okay, let's look another one. It's very similar, also hero banner here on the homepage. And here we had many different experiences, so 8 different experiences. So auto-target would consider those 8 based on machine learning, and AI would then crunch the data, and then for this and that visitor show this or that experience. So actually it's the opposite of one size fits all. I told you that. You can also use this, and this is more recent example, in a search box. So every website has a search box, and in this search box, typically you have a default predefined text. In our case, it's Suche, it's search, and we then took we experimented with different words here in the search box. Now, the different sentences that you see on this page, they were written by an AI machine itself, by NeuroFlash. So these are not written by humans, but by an AI machine. And here we also see uplift and downloads up to 32% with Was suchen Sie heute? And then this is reporting interface in the back. This is maybe not so interesting. There is also some under the hood reporting to go into the reporting and look in different kind of reports to see different kind of segments and to drill down into or beyond the black box thing, because the question comes, okay, how does auto-target do it? And what does the algorithm consider? What kind of signals, what kinds of segments, what kinds of elements? And here you can have these two reports is an attempt to look under the hood and to see the top attributes on the left-hand side that influence the model and their relative importance. So these are different attributes here, like operating system, language, and browser type. These are apparently attributes that influence the model a lot. And then based on this, you can also make new hypotheses and new assumptions. On the right-hand side, then this is not attributes, but this is segments, different automated segments that responded to different offers in different activities differently. So here you can go down into different segments, like there's a segment, someone who has seen Samsung or non-EU traffic, or I don't know, a specific browser traffic or so on. These segments you can then drill down and explore and see more and go beyond the black box. So I come to my conclusions. So auto-target works, AI and machine learning approach, at least that what we do here in this example with Adobe Target works. It, however, needs significant traffic and conversions. So you need at least 1,000 visits and at least 50 conversions per day per experience. And in addition, the activity must also have at least 7,000 visits and 350 conversions, whatever conversions are for you, clicks or downloads, uploads, or sales, can be anything. Now, it's only as good as the experiences are. So the DIGO principle, garbage in, garbage out, or DDD, dramatically different designs applied. If you don't have a contrasting experiences, if you have light blue versus dark blue, probably the contrast is not high enough and the model might never really crack it or find something. It needs a certain runtime for any model to learn. Obviously, we've seen 15 to 20 days for the model to learn and have something to say, so to see. And then it also, with the humans, with the people who operate it, it needs a change of mindset. Maybe that's the most difficult one, because you have to move away from designing and producing or thinking about one size fits all experience, but more my size fits me, which is more content actually to think of and to generate. And then also there is some configuration and tweaking of algorithm, but it's however limited. So that's the end, and thank you. And I'm happy to go into Q&A.
Thanks, Nicolas. So it was a very interesting take on like the whole A and B testing topic. So there's some questions. So I've got like one question. So you showed us these different options you would present to the users. In some sense, you have like a finite set of options. So how do you decide to create them? So do you already take into account that you want to have like options which look very different and you have already some different target groups in mind? Or do you just give your content creators absolute freedom and then you just measure later on?
Mm-hmm. For example, these here, you mean these kind of different options?
Yeah, I don't see them right now, but for example, you show different banners with different colors.
Yeah, okay, for example, this one. Yeah, that's a good question. So we have, of course, style guides, and we have a corporate identity, and we have certain things. So for example, here you see on those banners, they have different background colors. These are part of a design and style guide. Also, the buttons here are all blue and with a certain behavior when you go over them and so on. This is part of our corporate identity. So there's a certain freedom in the framework, if you like, here. So there's a framework that with style guides and corporate identity that you have to respect, fonts, colors, and so on. But within that framework, there's a certain freedom then to position and to lay out and to do certain things. So these are the agencies sometimes who do that. There was now an Easter campaign. Sometimes this is also internal online marketeers or experience marketeers, experience managers who would set this up.
But did any of your experience with the A/B testing and the targeting go into this kind of content creation, so you could provide some feedback to what to focus on?
Again, the question, I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Like, has there been some feedback loop, like, since now you're doing all these measurements and you might like find patterns, for example, regarding banners that work and banners that don't work. So do you do some kind of loop back mechanism here to the content creators and tell them?
Then we have several insights and reports, and of course, after these kinds of A/B tests or targeting or auto target, we then closely look at the results and then and try to get conclusions out of it, and then and build up on those conclusions and see, for example, I don't know, let's say that. A hand drawing does not work as well, or icons do not work as well as photography or something. So this is being analyzed, and again, this is going into loop. We call this analyze and optimize, and yes, this is being considered.
Okay, interesting. Regarding the features you are using for your A/B testing and optimization, I think you showed us you use different operating system as a feature to identify a user. In the last talk, we heard a lot about collaborative filtering, so like basically analyzing the clicking behavior of users. And do you use any kind of these advanced features, or are you good with, like, let's say, coarse-grained features such as geography and operating system? Does this work enough for you?
It depends. I mean, we look now more specifically at the auto-target. Now, auto-target it's based on AI and machine learning, and it uses all kinds of variables. So auto-target would, because it's an algorithm, it would look at geolocation, for example, time of day. It would look at your browser, at your operating system. It would look at all kinds of variables that it can catch from the browser, from the behavior, from surfing, recency, frequency. Whatever, these kinds of let's say free variables that come with your browser behavior and your surf behavior, and then on the other hand, it also uses more specific variables that are specific to Swisscom. So if someone is a customer or not, we would have maybe some other segments that are built for that person. If they log in, then those variables can be used as well. So this is out of the box for auto target, or also for automated personalization. The algorithm will dig into those variables and scripts and profiles. Profile is the right word here. And with experience targeting or with A/B testing, this is really up to the designer or to the marketeer or the optimization person who sets up the test or who sets up the experience targeting to say, okay, I want to use now geolocation, I want to use operating system, or I want to use every phone that is not a 5G phone, because I want to target all the non-5G phones and tell them, hey, did you know that 5G is out in Switzerland and you should upgrade to 5G? You're missing out a great experience. If you have a 5G phone, you can have much better speed. And that would actually make sense, because if you have a non-5G phone in your hand, you might actually be thankful that someone tells you, hey, did you know 5G is there? And actually your model exists in a 5G version as well. So it really depends on the setup, and this is being used as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very interesting. Like one thing that I found extremely surprising was that like one word made such a huge difference in this kind of search phrase.
Yeah, that's is amazing here. And the nice thing here is that this is actually by an AI machine itself. It's a Neuroflash. It's a company in Germany, and they have an AI engine who writes texts. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to see 32% uplift. So 32% more visitors reach the search page by just having "Was suchen Sie heute," right? Yeah. And this was also served through auto-target. So all those, what is this here, 5 wordings were served through auto-target, and over time auto-target will find out which wording is the best for you. So it does not necessarily show "Was suchen Sie heute" to all, because there are some people who actually would better convert "Wie können wir Ihnen helfen?" So they would be served this, but overall, 32% was for "Suchen Sie heute." So again, it's this kind of my size fits me versus one size fits all approach. Mm-hmm.